Everyone, my name is Ashley Jordan and I'm here with you guys today. It's just me individually, and I am going to be talking about nutrition, and I integrated some math into it to make it more fun and engaging for the younger students. And my grade level that I'm focusing on is 4th grade, because we're going to do a little bit of measuring and a lot of visual engaging activities to hopefully let them better understand the content. So I'm going to start off with the intro and the warm-up activity. And as you guys know, I'm doing nutrition, so I would discuss with the students first what is nutrition, and have them give me examples. If they don't know, we could talk about it, play a video that I have, which I'm not going to play for you guys today, but I have it that I could play for them, just like a little intro, because 4th grade probably will know what nutrition is just from life, but if they don't, that's okay. And we talk about a little, and we talk about healthy and non-healthy foods, and then I would each pass them an index card. I'd give them all individually two index cards, and I'd pass them out, and I would tell them to write down some of the unhealthy foods that they regularly eat, and then I would tell them to write down some very healthy foods that they regularly eat. So then this would just be a good intro to what can I improve on in my diet, and what they could keep eating or add more to their diet, or vice versa. And while this is going on, you could play the song that was in our modules this week, and I really liked it. It's like a minute long, just to get them up and like energized, just while they're writing down their unhealthy and healthy foods. And it's called Alive with 5, so maybe you'll be able to hear that. But you could play this song while they're writing these down, and that would be just like kind of like a fun intro for them to do. And it's very fun and engaging, and even for older students, because I think they really enjoy that anyways. Even though they're a little older, they can still have fun and do young stuff if they want to. So that is my intro, and I would just leave it at that, and I would have them look over it at the end and go and see what they could improve on and what they could keep in their diet, just for a little warm-up. So that was the intro activity. So after the introductory warm-up activity, we had to do a brain break activity. So I thought something logical and realistic for a brain break for in the classroom setting for nutrition would be a really simple, the kids stand up in their seats, or stand beside the desk, and it's kind of like my physical activity one, talking about opposites, do the opposites, but we're doing opposite sides. So they're gonna try to blink with their right eye and snap with their left hand, and vice versa. So they'll blink with their left eye and snap with their right hand. So for example, the right eye they blink, they snap, the left eye they blink, and then they snap. And then you could do that vice versa. You can change it up. You could do different things. You could say pat your head, or rub on your stomach, and that just gets the blood flowing and the brain to start thinking, and they're having fun, and they're actually not doing anything educational. They're just having fun and having a break for a little bit. So this could go on for about 5 minutes, and then you could go into your introduction activity. So this would just be a good kind of brain break activity for the students to do and have fun as well while they're learning in the lesson. For the instructional part of the lesson, I am integrating, this is where I integrate it to math, and I will group my students up into 3 groups of 5. So there'll be 5 students in each group for each food group. So one will be fruits, vegetables, protein, dairy, and grains. So I will assign them all one specific area, and then we'll get into their groups, and I will have the tables set up into 3 main groups, and I will have, as you can see here, I will have bowls of different items and foods they can choose from, and you have a lot of different measuring cups. And I'm going to be honest, just for this activity of showing you, I'm just going to use the 1 cup just so it's easier for you guys to see and me to demonstrate it for you, but hopefully you get the idea of where I'm going. So I have these just for an example, but I'm not really going to use those today. But I have an example of a bowl of rice, and this would be for the grains group. So say if I was assigned the grains group, so I would go to the grains and we'd each individually go to our station. So there would be grains, there'd be dairy, there would be protein, there'd be vegetables, and there'd be fruits. So for me, I would go over to my table, and then here's the rice bowl full of rice. And I would go over to my chart, and there's a chart in each group so they aren't confused. And the chart tells you exactly what the daily amount is for your age. So for 4th grade, the ages 9 to 13 is what I researched, and so I would have the chart written out for them and displayed at each group, so there's no frustration or anything like that, so they would completely understand it. So this one is an example of my chart, and it would be the serving size chart, and it would have fruits, vegetables, protein, dairy, and the grains. So, and then from here it says 5 ounces daily, 1.5 cups daily, 5 ounces daily, 3 cups daily, and 5 ounces daily. And where this math kind of comes in to play is when they have to convert ounces into cups. So they would work this out as a group and work out how many 5 ounces makes a cup. So, and they should know that 8 ounces equals a cup, so they could go from there. Oh, it's going to be less than a cup. So they would calculate it and fill in the blank, and I already did that for you, and it's 0.625. So for that example, they would go to it. So say I was grains, so I'd go all the way down to grains, and they're 5 ounces too, so it'd be 0.625. And so I would go over and I would estimate kind of, because this is 1 cup that I'm using, and you would want it a little bit over 1/2 cup, as you can see here, because it doesn't have to be exactly accurate, but just so they kind of get the point. And they will have a paper plate, and each student will have a paper plate while I assign them the specific food groups. And I would put the grains on the plate. And you could model this out for them first so they're not all just like slamming it down on the plate, vice versa. So they can just neatly do this. Neatly do it. And then after that, they would draw how big the grains took up the plate. So you would neatly do it like realistically, and you could show them, and you'd draw the outline of how much the grain covered the plate. Then after you do that, you dump it back in the bowl, and then you could color it in like I did. So I can model it again for you so you can color it in to make it a little bit more fun. And then you could label the grains, and then you could say it was rice. So from there, you could see grains, and this is the rice it covers, and then you could do that for fruits. You would do that for the vegetables and the veggies. And I have squash, I have grapes, I have rice, and I have black beans. So you could do a lot of dry ingredients in the classroom, not to get it really messy. But I just showed you the rice just so y'all would kind of get the concept, and so I could demonstrate for you guys. So that is what they would do, and then they would do this all as a group. So 1 person would have each assigned group. And then for the dairy, of course, on this chart it would say 3 cups daily. So they would have a cup and they would pour in the milk, or you could pour in water, or whatever you have access to, just so they kind of get the gist of where this is going. So then as the group would all work together and make one plate as a group. So they would each have a plate, but they would all do this together and make their own plate as the group. And the other plate that I give them is for the closing activity. So this would just be one group activity, and this would be like the instructional part of it, so they can get the visual of it. And it's the math part, because they are having to convert, and they're having to figure out and measure. So I thought that was just a cute and fun way to incorporate nutrition and math into it. So I thought that was very fun. And then for my last activity, I would have these students group up. They would have their plates and have these students group up again into 3. They could stay in their groups, or you could change the groups up if you wanted for the attention span for the kids. You could have them work with someone else. It's really up to you. But split them up into 3 groups of 5 again, and give them, and you would already have these laminated. You would have 20 index cards. You can laminate them or whatever you want, and you could have 10 healthy foods, and you'd have 10 unhealthy foods all through this stack. So you'd have a big stack of just unhealthy foods, and you would put them down in each group, and then the groups would have to identify the healthy foods and the non-healthy foods. And for this, I just did a quick demonstration for it, so you guys would kind of get it. And this is where their plates come into play too. So they would each have a plate, and they would each pick out, since there's 10 healthy and 10 non-healthy, each one should have enough for fruits, grains, dairy, vegetable, and proteins. So each group would have enough to make their own plate, and they would have tape, which I have here that I'm going to demonstrate. They could have tape, or a sticky note, or they could just write it in according to whatever you would want to do in your classroom. So for example, they would split them up into healthy and non-healthy groups. So for strawberries, that would be healthy. For ice cream, that would be non-healthy, so you put it over here. Vegetable, squash, you'd put it in healthy. Coke would not be healthy, so you put it over here in this pile. Rice is healthy, black beans is healthy, and milk is healthy. So that's just a demonstration. Of course, you'd have more healthy and non-healthy foods, but just for this demonstration I'm showing you. And so then, say I picked all of the healthy foods that I wanted right here, and I wanted to make my plate. So I would use this tape, and I've already got my tape set up. I just wanted to show you guys. So for strawberries, I really like strawberries, so I would tape this onto my fruits. For my vegetables, I really like squash, so I would tape it to my vegetables. And for my grains, I really like rice, so I would put it right here onto my plate. And then for my proteins, I really like black beans, so I would put it on my proteins. And then your dairy, I really like milk, so I would put it here on the side, because that's really in a cup, it's not on your plate. And then they would have their plate, and they would just decide. So I have strawberries, rice, milk, squash, and black beans. So this all right here would actually be a really good meal to eat. So this is just another visual that they have individually, so they could make that up. And I really thought this was kind of fun too, because it's really interactive, but they also get to make choices of what they want to put on their plate, and that's really good, and that meets a health standard as well. And for all of these assignments that I showed you for this one, and for the serving sizes activity, and for the drawing activity of the measurements, you could all, this could be the main assessment if you want to do it for math. And this could be an assessment for demonstrating healthy choices. So this could be, you have multiple different options for assessments and grading throughout these activities. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that. And you can also do a lot of modifications to this activity. So you could add more. I thought I did really good on visuals, but I thought maybe you could do more video or more explaining or talking about it and then going into the visuals, or like I said, changing the groups up for ADD and ADHD students, so you could switch the groups up and make it more engaging and fun for those students as well. But that is my activity for today, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.